The 60-meter dash at the World Indoor Meet is officially over, and that means that somebody is a brand new world champion, and that man is Jeremiah Azu of Great Britain. He ran 6.49 seconds to get the victory. This is the same man who also won the European Championship in that same event. So yes, you've got to take him seriously from this point on. But I'm pretty sure if you actually watch the race, you already know who is behind him. Lachie Kennedy of Australia, the same man who came into this meet with an incredibly fast time that he ran outdoors, went 6.50 seconds in the final to get the silver medal. That makes him not just legitimately fast, but a world championship medalist. So from this point on, there's really not much we can say about who he is or where he came from, because now we know the truth. Lachie Kennedy is going to be there in the sprinting events. We don't know what's going to happen in the 100, but we do know we're going to notice him every time he's in a lane going forward. And the whole indoor-outdoor debate, I'm not saying that it's all the way over, but the times he gave us indoors at this meet make a whole lot of sense, because with the win factors they quoted, a 6.43 to giving us 6.50, 6.53, I believe 6.54, like, those clocks make sense. When you say plus 1.6, take that away, and then we're indoors, everything basically held up. So now, it's been validated. Lachie Kennedy has a medal. And the bronze medal went to Akani Simbine of South Africa, and this is not his first world medal. But, that said, he did get a bronze medal this time indoors in the 60, and it's the first time he ever showed up at World Indoors, which is a very big deal because he's pretty deep in his career and ran in the Olympic 100-meter final. Which brings me to the real conversation, because what did we really just witness? Because nobody in that Olympic 100-meter final, except for Akani Simbine, came to this meet, and it ain't even like the people who were in the semifinals showed up either. So, if you were not really watching the meet, I'm gonna fill you in on all the context, because yes, those are the men with the medals, but there's a whole lot more going on, because I'm starting to think I understand now. And I say understand, like, I got the argument before, but I think we got to watch it with our eyes. Why a lot of athletes don't really want to run indoors, and the ones who feel they can opt out do exactly that. So let's get into it. Because I watched the heats, I'm going to tell you what was the narrative before we got to this final. We already know the three men who I just described. Jeremiah Azu was probably the best sprinter from, top to bottom, from round 1 all the way to round 3. Like, the performances he gave us were most consistently at the top of the line. But up until the final, you could probably argue that Ronnie Baker was the next guy who was consistently good. Again, I said you could argue because I'm about to get to another one in a moment. Ronnie Baker won his preliminary heat and made it look pretty easy. He won his semifinal against Lachie Kennedy and ran him down and made that look relatively easy as far as the 60 is concerned. Think kind of like what Noah Lyles did to Arian Knight in the I think it was the USA Championships in I think maybe 2022. I'm just going off head, because yes, he ran him down in the 200, but he ran him down in such a way where even though it was close at the line, it wasn't close at the line. Like, it was clear Noah Lyles was going to be the winner even before he was in front. So when Ronnie Baker got to the final, the fact that he pulled up with what looks like a hamstring injury, I pray and wish him all of the best going forward this season. And it's a very long season, so fortunately, there's a lot of time to figure things out on the way to what eventually will be qualifying for, the World Outdoor Teams and what the championship will be in September. Nobody wants to deal with injuries at any point in their career, and he wasn't the only one. Keep in mind, he finished through the line anyway. He finished through the line and got, I think it was 6th on the leaderboards. He wasn't in last place. It was about 5 to 10 meters from the line when he pulled up and wasn't clearly had the break stride. But he was in at least 3rd place at that moment. If you saw his semifinal, there was a good chance he would have made it to 2nd place or potentially even to 1st. So we were going to have a blanket finish with Ronnie Baker right there. He might have edged him out because Noah Lyles had proven that you can't really judge anything 10 meters from the line when you're that close. The only thing that happened was he had to slow up. So he goes from 3rd. He was solidly in 3rd. Sorry, Akani Simbine wasn't getting the bronze medal if Ronnie Baker was finishing through that line healthy. But, hey, this is why we run the races and that drops out. But just for context, that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. And you've got to bring up Eloy Benitez of Puerto Rico. Nobody was checking for him. But I noticed him in the heats because I was actually watching them live. He ran 6.49 seconds in his preliminary heat, the exact same time Jeremiah Azu gave us in the final. I don't believe anybody else ran faster than that for the entire meet. So the idea that you could pretend Eloy Benitez wasn't supposed to be in that final or wasn't going to be a threat to get a medal as well, I ain't buying it. The difference is he wasn't able to even run past 20 meters. And again, I wish him all the best and, hope that he can, get back on the track and be healthy. But it just is what it is. He didn't get to run. So when you're watching the race, you don't remember that because he's not a name we noticed before. So if you see the footage and you just see somebody who gets hurt, people are just kind of gonna pass it off as whatever. But it's not whatever. Eloy Benitez was a very real competitor. Rohan Watson came into the final like he had run fast in his prelim, but he was inconsistent, I believe, through the semi. So it was kind of a toss-up, and then in the final, he just didn't put down his best race. It just is what it is. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. Which brings us back to the whole discussion of who wasn't in the race. Because we're running a world championship, and to be real about it, some people are going to just pass this off as whatever. Because aside from Akani Simbine, nobody who has done anything on the world stage, made a final. When I say done anything, I mean made a world championship or Olympic final in 2024, 2023. I think it even dates back to 2022. I don't think anybody from any of those years was actually showing up to run indoors at this meet. I'm not the one who brings this up. If you want to be clear, I'm not alone in this. Tian Welton of New Zealand, who ran in the semifinals, he was also competing with Lachie Kennedy outdoors. They ran that 60-meter outdoors, the one that went very fast. He ran 6.50 in that race. And now he's a World Indoor Championship semifinalist after those performances. But he was saying in the comments on this platform, so I might be able to dig it up and put it on the screen. But hey, it is what it is, in the editing. He made it very clear that if the top athletes, the projected or most respected top athletes, don't show up to compete at this World Indoor meet, it's going to put an asterisk to some degree, or it's going to, take a lot of energy away from whatever people accomplish. You can't say you're the fastest if you don't run with the fastest. Yes, somebody's gonna win, and we can even use the clock for comparison notes. But last year's World Indoors, because Noah Lyles and Christian Coleman showed up, winning that gold medal was going to matter. Granted, we also knew Christian Coleman was gonna get it, but if anybody else would have been able to beat them, you could really brag about something. That was something worthy of very real respect. We're not saying this is not respectful, but we are admitting that a lot of people just didn't show up. And maybe the reason why is, above all else, it might just simply be about the injury component, about the way people train in a very long season and traveling from one country to another and going, continent to continent, all of that to run a few races and have to go back and get back on the circuit. I get it. And this is the state of the sport, where we have a World Indoor Championship, which most people don't really care about. But hey, if you're still watching this video at this point, then you must care a little bit, or for that matter, a whole lot if you're still here. So shout out to you. And then you have the World Outdoors, which we try to put all our energy in that bag, but we still got to run a whole bunch of races that I guess don't really mean anything, at least not to a casual fan. They don't really know what's going on with the Diamond League or anything else. They don't get it. They might see a race and just oh, they're running now. But the world, at least we have some concept of what it's supposed to be. And that's where I guess we put all of our focus on that one moment. But this is the state of track and field. We're going to do World Indoor Championships, whether you like it or not, whether you take it seriously or not. And we might have a bunch of athletes who are self-selecting out of it, but somebody's going to have to win these medals. So shout out to Jeremiah Azu, because he is now a world champion in the 60-meter dash. Gold medals do not grow on trees. And for that matter, medals of any color are incredibly hard to get on the world stage, regardless of what event you're in. And now Lachie Kennedy is legit. And when I say legit, I don't just mean legit on a clock. Legit in the sense where when you have a world level medal, from now on, that is going on your name. You don't have to put respect on your name because he put it on himself. Shout out to him. And we'll be watching for him in a world where gout is supposed to be the biggest thing in Australian sprinting, but gout clearly has some company in the case of Lachie Kennedy. And for Akani Simbine, it's another world championship level medal to add to the chest. It's a bronze medal, but it's still another one to add to the collection. And nobody's really going to remember it anyway, because we're going to be focusing on what happens outdoors. Because as great as this meet might have been if you actually got a chance to watch it, I am sure that we can all agree now that the World Indoor Championship 60 meter is over. Indoor track and field really doesn't matter anymore. It's all about what happened in September. And if you don't take care of business in September at the World Championships in the 100 meter dash, nobody's really going to care anymore what you did it on indoor track. Because this is the sport of track and field, where for the most part, in the eyes of a casual fan, remember, I said that part, if you're not in first place, you might as well be in last, and that's that. In the sport of track and field, confidence is everything, because when you win, that is just the moment when everybody else finds out what you already knew to be true, that fast is a lifestyle. Get your Fast is a Lifestyle track and field gear at scarecruiting.com/shop. Or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.